I'm like, what's the big deal? Just climb up and go get it. So we try to get around from the back end, but apparently there's no actual direct access. Long story short, we never got to it.
No way.
It's still there on top of the arena. Welcome to Oddball. I'm Amin Elhassan, still in studio here in Miami. Charlotte Wilder.
Charlotte Wilder.
Put those fists down. We're not fighting. Not yet. What's going on in the NBA?
I don't know.
Why is everyone so angry?
Everybody has a lot of feelings recently.
Let's do this together.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, deep breath in. And out.
Breathe into your nose. Hold it. And exhale. It felt really nice.
I'm telling you, man. I swear to God.
I do feel a little lightheaded.
That's because there's something else in the air. But great show for you guys. I don't even want to waste time.
Let's do it.
Housekeeping. Let's get right into it. So last night, the Bucks and the Pacers, America's new sweetheart, the Indiana Pacers, they got into it several times. Right?
Yes.
And most notably, first of all, there was a Giannis dunk where he shoved Tyrese Halliburton to the ground. So there's a little bit of friction there. Then later on, Aaron Nesmith tries to wrap up Giannis to prevent the three-point play. He almost ends up wrestling him into the ground, even though he's trying to hold him up so he doesn't fall bad.
Right.
Bobby Portis comes in. He's all upset, angry. And, Bobby Portis, when he gets angry, he does these crazy eyes thing, right?
Right. I love how when Bobby Portis, there's just whites all the way around.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
just two little dots in a sea
and you're
of
like,
white.
oh, boy, watch out for Bobby.
Bobby Portis. So him and Nesmith are shoving each other. Giannis is standing up trying to see what's up. Now, this is typical for any team that has a great player, an MVP caliber player. When someone does what is felt like an untoward physical act towards them, the rest of the team rally around because not just, hey, that's our teammate, that's our guy. It was like, that's the moneymaker.
Yeah.
You're not
no. We need that guy.
But Charlotte, so all right, imagine already, you have a loyalty to someone because that's your friend and your teammate. Then you have another level of loyalty to them because that's the moneymaker, that's the MVP, that's the reason we all have jobs, really. And it ratcheted up another level. Mm-hmm. He's my brother, and he's literally why I have a job.
Thanasis was determined to prove that there is a reason he is there. He was doing his job. He was earning his keep with that. I mean, you particularly like the little leg kick he does at the end there.
It's like get on me. As if he's going to wriggle away ass first toward the fight.
Ass first. Sort of vaudevillian, if I may say. It was like someone was pulling him with a cane, get out of here. See?
We needed someone to slide whistle backstage making the sound effects. So we get all that happens, right? And so something else happens during this game, Charlotte.
Yes.
Giannis breaks the franchise record for most points scored.
Giannis scores 64 points against the Pacers.
Previous record was?
57.
Do you know who held the previous record?
I can't remember, even though you just said this before we started.
Red.
There you go.
Michael Red. Shout out to Michael Red, Ohio State's own Michael Red, the Ohio State, right? So, that's a big deal. Not only his career high, but the franchise record. Yeah. A franchise that has had some great players, Ray Allen, Lou Alcindor, a.k.a. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Oscar Robertson. There's a lot of great players in the history of the Bucks organization. For him to have that record, pretty big deal. So he wants the game ball. But the Pacers have a policy that if you score your first career points, we get you the game ball. Well, Oscar Tshiebwe scored his first career points, and so they got him the game ball. So Giannis is saying, wait a second, that ain't your game ball, that's my game ball. I want this. This is important, right?
Yes.
So he runs like a maniac to the Pacers locker room.
Sprints. And I didn't see this coming, Amin, because there's some spirited conversation. They're trying to figure stuff out. They're like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, Giannis just takes off like a bat out of hell, a shot out of a cannon. And the security guard running behind him, he's grabbing the jersey. It's like a cartoon.
So Giannis comes back out and begins to argue with Tyrese Halliburton and Pacers assistant coach Lloyd Pierce. And Damian Lillard's there, and Chris Middleton's there, and there's a whole lot of whooping and huffing and anger, right?
And on that note, I think we should leave everybody hanging a little bit, leave them wanting more.
Oh.
I think we should take a little trip.
Yeah. when we return, we'll return a little bit later.
With the rest of that story.
With the rest of the conclusion, the thrilling conclusion of that story. But in the meantime, Draymond Green suspension came down, and it came down as
indefinitely.
Indefinite. I love the idea of the league saying, you know what? Just sit there until I can figure out what to do with you.
I know. I have so many questions. First of all. Okay, indefinitely.
Mm-hmm.
This is my thing with indefinitely. Mm-hmm. Indefinitely could technically mean 1 game.
Sure.
It could also mean
forever.
30 games.
Could mean
it could also mean forever.
Yeah.
And I like that Rich Paul, Draymond's agent at Clutch Sports, is going to sit down with the Warriors, and they're going to figure out, they're like, we got to figure out what we're going to do about this guy. Like, he needs some help.
Some counseling. Is on the table, I believe.
And so,
Well, he'll be required to meet certain league and team conditions before he returns to play.
I want to know what those conditions are. Like, is he going to have to sign a piece of paper that says, I'm not going to choke guys out or hit them in the balls or the face?
Wow. That's a lot.
Because it feels like that's what.
Hold on now. How am I supposed to play basketball now? It's a bizarre situation. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this.
No.
Maybe Dennis Rodman, but Dennis Rodman, it wasn't. Again, we talked about this on yesterday's show. Mm-hmm. In the last 9 months, basically, he's been suspended 4 times. And we're not even counting, if you go a little further, he didn't get suspended for this, but he punched the out of Jordan Poole.
Which I feel like, and you've said this before, we've talked about this before, when the Warriors did not suspend him after punching Jordan Poole, and I feel like this has come out in some of the reporting, people feel like they lost him. Like, how do you discipline someone if you're not going to set that boundary there? How do you, like, I'm okay with them not disciplining him, right?
Right. Like, they fined him, but they didn't suspend him. I'm okay with that. But it has to come within the context of someone who realizes they f***ed up big time.
Right.
Like, if you don't have that realization, if it, man, it wasn't that big of a deal, man. And by the way, not to say that Jordan Poole didn't deserve to get punched in the face.
Okay.
I'm not saying.
We're not saying that.
Look, he might have, but we also recognize that just because someone deserves it doesn't mean it's okay to do it.
You know, let me just stop you for a second, Amin.
Sure.
I feel like we've got a lot of sort of basic elementary school lessons going on here.
Yes, we do.
Giannis wants the ball, but somebody else wants the ball. Draymond really wants to just punch people in the face, but just because you want to, kids, doesn't mean you can. It's like very basic shit.
Pretty much. So we're not going to go too far from Golden State because it's a moneymaker. It's Giannis. Like, we're going to keep talking about them. So Shams Charania came out with the report that the Warriors actually offered Klay Thompson a deal before the season started, 2 years in the range of about $48 million. As an extension, and Klay declined it. He's making $43.2 million this year.
Yeah.
Charlotte.
It's a big pay cut.
It's a big pay cut.
However.
Exactly. Go ahead.
However, Klay is not shooting the way they need Klay to shoot. And he's getting older. And I get the ego and the feeling of deserving something because you brought the team so many championships and you're an integral part of this and you're a homegrown player and blah, blah, blah. I think I might have actually, if I were Klay, considered that deal before the season. He's been hurt a lot recently.
Right.
He's not been playing as well as he used to. I feel like I would have taken that deal and been like, okay, well, at least we've got this locked in. I can stay in Golden State. And then if you really believe that you can play that much longer and that much better, be like, I'm just going to crush it. And then they'll re-sign me.
This is the push and the pull, right? The struggle, the conflict here. Because on the one hand, Klay Thompson has been the consummate professional and teammate. He's sacrificed. I've had this conversation so many times with both people in the league and fans. If Klay Thompson had his own team, what would he be? What would he be? What would his team be? And I've said it, and there are a bunch of people in the NBA who agree with me when I say this. He would have been Reggie Miller. He would have been great.
Yep.
His team would have won games. Would they won a championship? I don't know if you could win with Klay Thompson as your best player.
Yeah.
But definitely you could be knocking on that door. You definitely would be a winning team. And he definitely would be great. And we would look at with a certain reverence. But Klay understood because Klay comes from a family and a father specifically who understands, right? His father was the number 1 overall pick.
What it takes to win.
Was the number 1 overall pick. and played for bad teams and then got traded to the Lakers. And I asked him, I said, Michael, how hard was it to adjust? You're number one overall pick, you're a great scorer, whatever, and now you're coming and you're playing with the Lakers. How hard was it to adjust your game? And he looked at me and said, are you kidding? He's like, I walk in the locker room, I see, that's Magic Johnson, that's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, that's James Worthy. Like, adjust? I was just happy to be there. And he won 2 rings doing that. And so for Michael, I'm sure a lot of that has been imparted on Klay, who obviously has been a greater player than his father was. Mm-hmm. But also understanding, like, no, this is not normal. What you're part of is not normal. So extend it as long as you can.
Yeah.
And that means, subjugating yourself in the way you play and all that stuff. Now, they've had great success, and he should feel an integral part of that success. But he's left off the top 75 list, which hurt his feelings for sure.
Yep, I forgot about that.
Back-to-back injuries, awful injuries that some people don't even come back from.
Right.
He had them both at the same time, pretty much. And then had to fight back and won another title under those things. In his mind, it's like, I've proven to you that I'm worth it. But this is a business. Mm-hmm. And so we can't pay you for yesterday.
Exactly. That's where it's like, I understand not being able to fathom that as the player.
Right.
But at the same time, how can you not know as you get older in professional sports, it's just not going to be the same money if you are not doing that currently.
You're not productive. I get it. And I guess I would say that if you ask Klay said, so I'm a little bit of a rust spot right now. But we all know what I am really. In his mind, it hasn't departed. It's merely paused because of whatever reason. And so that's why he turns it down and he goes to wait to the end of the year. Question is that money going to be available at the end of the year, or does that number shrink?
I know.
Or does he find that money somewhere else?
Do you think he would leave?
I think more than money, I think if someone came and like approached him with the reverence that I think he feels like he's been missing, I think he might. But then again, I don't know. One phone call with Steph, and maybe Steph says, don't leave, man. Come on. Let's make this work.
Also, moving's a bitch, so.
Previously on Oddball. What's going on in the NBA?
I don't know.
Giannis is saying, wait a second, that ain't your game ball, that's my game ball. He runs like a maniac to the Pacers locker room.
Sprints to prove that there is a reason he is there.
And now, the thrilling conclusion to the Giannis Indiana Pacers saga. So.
Okay.
He comes back out.
Yep.
He's arguing.
Yep.
Lloyd Pierce, Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Moment that I loved was Chris Middleton, Tyrese Halliburton are having some words. Mm-hmm. Chris Middleton looks pretty heated. He's animated. Yeah. He's riled up. And Tyrese, this 24-year-old sweetheart, is just like, his face is very calm. And if you notice in the video, he has his hand on Chris's back in like a. It's all right. We'll figure this out. And it's just like this young guy who's having this ascension, being like, you know what? And Chris is like, I'm in my 30s.
You like that part. I like the part where Giannis walks up and starts finger pointing and talking, and Tyrese says, whoa, what are you talking about? I didn't say any of that. So you have all this hoopla around a basketball. Who deserves this game basketball? Is it the young rookie who scored his first career points? Or is it the guy who broke a historical franchise record that scored a career high? Here's the problem, Charlotte. The Bucks already have the ball. They had the ball the whole time. You say, Amin, how do you know? Because if you watch the end of the game and the last shot goes up and caroms off, as soon as the buzzer sounds, a Bucks security personnel storms the court and scoops it up and runs away with it.
Also, there are 2 game balls.
There's 2 game balls. But the one that was live in-game use, the Bucks had. So the one that the Pacers had was the alternate game ball, the backup game ball. So Giannis, in essence, was running around looking for the wrong ball. He already had possession of the ball. Let me take it up another notch.
There's a wrinkle. There's another
Give
wrinkle.
Me the wrinkle.
It was not Oscar Tshiebwe's first point in the NBA.
And now I know what you guys are thinking. Well, how's that possible, Charlotte?
Because He scored in the in-season tournament.
In the championship game of the in-season tournament, which, when the calculus is done on the end of the year, will be Indiana's 83rd game. Thus, the stats accumulated in that game are null and void and do not count towards your actual season stats.
What a mess.
What a mess.
What a mess.
All of this over a ball. Now, when I was on Batard show earlier, Chris Cody said, well, they got a rack full of balls. Just grab any one of those balls. Like, no.
We've discussed this on Oddball.
Those are not game balls. Exactly. We have talked about this on Oddball, that there's a life cycle for a basketball. You go from a brand new ball from the factory that nobody wants to play with because players hate new balls, right? And then you get broken in summer league and broken in training camp. And the rookies and the young guys, they have to play with those balls while the vets practice with the regular balls. Then as it gets worn in and broken in, maybe you get some vets working for it. And then it reaches a point where it's like, this is actually a perfect ball.
Some are chosen from many to few.
Yeah, e pluribus unum, right? Like, you get that one ball that's like, this is a perfect ball. The equipment manager then takes it and puts it in his office. And now that ball lives a charmed life because all the other balls are getting broken in left and right. This one sits in the equipment manager's office and it only comes out on game days. And there are two balls that the home team provides. One is the game ball and one is the alternate game ball.
How on earth have we not written a children's book about this yet?
About the
basketball that's chosen to be a game ball and then ends up going home, gets fought over and ends up going home with Giannis. It writes itself. Nobody steal that idea.
Well, I kind of feel like it's also a story of like exclusionary and like kind of like, hey, we're going to segregate. Hey, you ugly balls over here. Like, this one's special.
I guess the message isn't really there.
I do love the idea that also at the end of the day, these game balls, they become too worn to become game balls. And then they go back into Gen Pop. Yeah, you got to figure out life. But that's the end of the story, Charlotte.
There is one other thing.
There's one more?
Giannis said in the presser after the game, I just want to read this quote because I think it's great. I really don't know. I have a ball, but I don't know if it's the game ball. It doesn't feel like the game ball to me. It feels like a brand new ball. I can tell. I played, 35 minutes today? I know how the game ball felt. The ball that I have, which I'll take and give to my mom for sure, but I don't know if it was actually the game ball. All that, and he is still not convinced.
Well, he's definitely tripping, right? Like, he's definitely, because here's the deal. Yes, there are balls that are not game balls, right? But the alternate game ball and the game ball are game balls, right? In fact, what happens before every game, it's not like this one is the main game ball and this is its apprentice, right? They bring the balls out and the refs and the captains are like, yeah, this one.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Also, we saw the Bucks guy grab it.
Show him the video. Show him the tape. Run the tape, Giannis. I also like that he shouted out Kyle Korver. So Kyle Korver is now the assistant general manager for the Atlanta Hawks, I think. But like, I like the idea like Kyle Korver just, another quiet Wednesday night. He's like, wait, what? Giannis said my name. Why? He says, what's the quote?
He says, at the end of the day, you're talking about the guy that just skipped Kyle Korver in the all-time list. In my opinion, we should all stop what we're doing and appreciate greatness.
Like, that's a funny line, but if I'm Kyle Korver, man, you, man.
He's like, I'm literally just minding my business. You all might be wondering why we have gloves on the table. And it's because we're playing a new game. And this game is called Agenda Reveal Party. We have to pop these balloons that we have
to figure out the agenda.
Thank you. Shout out to producer Thomas for this brilliant idea. However, Thomas did say, he came into the room and he was like, just so you know, when you blow up a balloon and put a piece of paper in it, there can be a little condensation and the paper might be a little damp.
Oh.
And Amin and I were like, what? Why? And then we were like, okay.
The slow realization that, yes, when you blow air from your mouth into a balloon,
there's moisture.
There's all sorts of...
You can see a little bit. Okay.
Can you see it?
Well, I don't know. Let's not dwell on that. We're going to put on our gloves.
I got mine on.
You have yours on?
Yes.
Okay. This is going to be loud.
All right, here we go.
Ready?
Get us going. Get us started.
2, 3.
Oh, all I can think of is just like all of that.
It is so loud in a studio.
Just
okay, now
it's
we're
everywhere. It's all over me.
Oh my God.
It's right under your foot. Right under your foot.
It's a little damp.
Is it? Oh. Oh.
This is gross. Okay.
Oh, just read it quick, please.
reveal the league's agenda behind Greg Popovich's infallibility.
Oh, this one was meant for me. We're simple creatures. Yes. We reward winning. We give winning a halo of invincibility, right? Mm-hmm. When you've won a lot, that grows. When you've won more than anyone, it becomes impenetrable until you do something that shakes that, right? So Phil Jackson has won more championships than anybody. Everyone said Phil's the smartest, and he himself profited from a system that always looked at him as like the smartest coach whatever.
Yeah.
And then he went to the Knicks and like was like 3-pointers are bad and stuff like that. And it was like, oh, you're just some crazy old man. And
you've ruined us for a decade.
Ruined his reputation though. Ruined his reputation, right? Greg Popovich, similarly, he's won more games than anyone. He's won 5 championships. I would add all those championships happened with Tim Duncan, right? So he has this aura about him. And he is a very, very smart coach. He's a great coach, right? But they're not gods.
Yeah.
And so gods are infallible, men falter. He'll falter one day, and maybe we're watching that faltering happen right now.
We could be watching as the Spurs continue to skid the beginning of that, or Wembanyama could get his act together and everybody.
It's more
the rest of them.
Well,
all right, good agenda. Oh, it's long.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to have to hold it for
That's
so
a
long.
paragraph. What are you guys doing back there?
Reports stated that rival NBA executives are, quote, monitoring Cavaliers guard Donovan Mitchell's happiness in Cleveland. You're in the Cavs front office. What is your agenda for keeping him around? Or you're Donovan Mitchell. What is your agenda in your last year and a half before your $37 million player option for the 2025-2026 season? I think I know this one.
All right.
Cavs, small market.
There you go.
They want a star. They want to keep him around. Donovan Mitchell wants to win a championship. So
wants to play in a big market too.
Yeah.
Done the small market thing twice now. Got it. I get it. I get the appeal.
Yeah.
Give me somewhere nice, new. Yeah.
He's from around New York.
Yeah.
That would be fun. You want to pop that last guy?
The last one. Pop the last. 3, 2.
Find it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's another paragraph.
Okay.
This offseason, LeBron James has a $51 million player option if he chooses to return to the Lakers for the 2024 season. Reveal what the agenda is for LeBron this postseason. So, end of this year, he can opt out or opt in, or he can opt out and leave. What's his agenda?
I feel like his agenda is another year. Well, if Bronny, his agenda is Bronny. I got the math part of that. I was like, Bronny will have played a year by then.
Yep.
His agenda is to play with his son.
Yes.
So whatever that means, if he thinks that opting out, they can go to the team that picks Bronny, probably Detroit. Can you imagine? Would LeBron move to Detroit?
Absolutely not.
For LeBron James Jr.?
Absolutely not. That's when you, as LeBron, say, you need to trade my son. That's what you do there. There's that, but also LeBron's opt-out date is June 29th.
Oh.
The draft day is June 27th. So he'll have 2 days to figure out.
He orchestrated that, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
You always do. You try to get your option date as late as possible, but not too late, because if you want to get traded by opting in, you got to give yourself enough time for that to happen as well.
Delicate dance.
Yeah. So, but by doing it after draft day, he knows he can look and see where his son gets drafted, either try to orchestrate a trade, or if he gets drafted at all, because that's the other thing. Ronnie might go undrafted. Like, we don't know. We don't know. He played, as of this recording, like 1 game.
Right.
So we'll see where it ends up.
So, of the worst teams right now, Detroit, Wizards.
Well, I mean, he's not going to be
Spurs.
the number 1 pick, so you don't have to worry about the worst teams.
I just automatically, I'm
or
like,
the worst locations?
he's not, yeah.
The worst locations, we have to touch that with my hand.
Actually, this is galaxy brain shit. LeBron is like, Bronny, don't play too well. Because I want you to go to a market that I want to go to. And if the better you play, the worse situation we're going to be in.
As a father, you want him to get drafted as high as possible. You want him to have that joy. As a competitor trying to orchestrate like the chessboard or whatever, you want him to go undrafted, because then you get to pick where you go.
Wow, that's the agenda.
Call me, Rich.
Agenda reveal.
I'll help you guys.
I'm going to take these off now.
Oh. Be careful. Don't let it touch your bare skin.
I know. You know how you take them off?
Inside out, yeah. Look right here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that condensation on the inside.